There's a top-class elite field for this year's Challenger World London Triathlon, with the promise of British Triathlon Super Series points, a good prize purse and the prestige that comes with winning the world's biggest triathlon. There's always a top-level entry for this race. Reigning women's champion Helen Jenkins is back to compete again and won't make it easy for the other women today. Competition will come from Liz Blatchford, Jodie Stimpson and Vicky Holland. But none can compete with Jenkins on the swim, and she leads out with a big gap to Blatchford. Blatchford herself is well ahead of the rest. Jenkins already heading towards central London as the pack collect their bikes. A few miles down the road they collect Liz Blatchford too, leaving Jenkins alone up front. Meanwhile, the men are about to start, and it's a stellar lineup, with 2007 London Triathlon winner Tim Don, last year's winner Will Clark, 05 champion Stuart Hayes, the Australian Courtney Atkinson, who was second to Clark here last year, and the world duathlon champion Jared Shoemaker from the States. Tim Don starts as favourite perhaps, after his wins at Des Moines and Blenheim, another Challenger World Triathlon earlier this year. At the end of the swim, Dustin McClarty is in P1 for T1, but he won't stay there for long. As ever, it's a mad dash to make that lead bike pack, and he'll soon be hunted down. As they pass the O2, the men are all together and heading for Westminster, where the first elite triathlete of the day is just arriving. Helen Jenkins has led for the first 12k, but soon gets caught by the pack, where she'll stay for the rest of the ride. In the men's race, there's no breakaway yet as they head for the Westminster turn. But for the remaining 28k of the ride, it's all cut and thrust as Stuart Hayes attacks again and again at the front of the lead pack. Eventually succeeding to form a breakaway trio with Richard Stannard and Matt Sharp. Kerry Lang leads the women into T2, but it's anyone's race from here. Soon it's just Jodie Stimpson and defending champion Helen Jenkins up front, matching each other in running stride as well as focus. Two up front for the men as well as they come into transition 2, Matt Sharp and Stuart Hayes with a hard-earned advantage for the start of the run. For Sharp though, enough is enough. He drops out with an injury, but Stuart Hayes pushes on, hoping his 30-second lead will be enough, while the rest of the men stream into transition to start the chase. While Jenkins eases away from Stimpson to make a repeat win look more likely, matters are less and less settled amongst the men. By the end of one lap of 4, Courtney Atkinson of Australia has caught Hayes and has the lead. Though a lap later, there are 5 up front and fighting for the win, amongst them Tim Don and Jared Shoemaker. To the delight of the Australians in the crowd, Atkinson is soon pushing the pace. It's too much for Hayes and Clark to keep up with. But there's plenty for the Brits in the crowd to cheer as Tim Don also looks strong. In one of the best foot races this triathlon has ever seen, it's a battle all the way to the last lap, with Don, Atkinson and Shoemaker all in contention. There's no one to worry Helen Jenkins on her last lap, and she takes a second consecutive title at the Challenger World London Triathlon. There'll be no second title for Tim Don though, at least not this year, as Atkinson puts the hammer down on the last lap to go one place better than 2009.
It's a great race, it's a big race, and second last year, first this year, I'm pretty stoked.
It's fantastic, there's a great crowd and so much support, so thank you for everyone for championing for me. I love racing in London, it's such a great course.